Elizabeth Bathory. Just look up her name, and you'll find numerous videos and articles about her. Known as the most prolific woman serial killer of all time in the Guinness Book of World Records, her fate is sealed by history as an infamous evil. But there is actually a strong defense for Elizabeth that she was no mere tyrant, but a victim of politics in the form of conspiracy. Elizabeth Bathory was born in Neurology, Royal Hungary, in 1560 or 61. She lived her early days in Ecsedi Castle with her family. Her father was Baron George VI Bathory of the Ecsedi branch of the family, brother of Andrew Bonaventura Bathory, who had been voivode of Transylvania, while her mother was Baroness Anna Bathory, daughter of Stephen Bathory of Somlyo, another voivode of Transylvania, who was of the Somlyo branch. This is important because the voivode is the highest-ranking official in the region, and is a statement to the family's political power. Elizabeth also had family ties to the King of Poland, the Grand Duke of Lithuania, and the Judge Royal of Hungary. Elizabeth received a grand education, money, and, of course, a social standing that came with her birth. At this point, it is important that we begin to set the stage for widespread misconception about Elizabeth, possibly due to brainwashing and popular hysteria before, during, and after her life. During her childhood, Elizabeth was the victim of seizures, and at the time, the known treatment for these fits was to either spread the blood of the uninfected on the lips of the infected, or to give the epileptic a mix of a non-sufferer's blood and a piece of a skull as their episode ended. So naturally, people assumed that perhaps she was just trying to cure herself with all the flesh that she would have later in life. But of course, there is no evidence for this. People like to rationalize acts so they fit well into their own narrative, even if based off of no real facts. The lie got so bold that in 1729, in the Jesuit scholar Laszlo Turok's tragic Historia, it was written that she bathed in blood. But I guess it fits her name, therefore it must be true. This was not considered fiction at the time, although written about 200 years after her death in history books. This has potentially led to tales like Dracula, which are popular to this day. Another attempt to reconcile is made by many sources that she was made to watch many acts of cruelty by her father by witnessing brutal punishments executed. But again, there is no hard evidence. She was argued to have been an unclean Satanist witch, becoming pregnant by 13. Evidence of this pregnancy came up long after Elizabeth's death, through rumors spread by peasants. Therefore, the validity of the rumor is often disputed. At the ripe old age of 10, Elizabeth became engaged to Ferenc Nadasdy. Her social stance was higher than her husband, so he took her last name. In 1578, Nadasdy became commander-in-chief over all Hungarian troops and went away to war to defend his country against the Ottomans. This left Elizabeth in charge of the family estates, business affairs, healthcare, and even the defenses of her lands, which were under attack. This is also the time when a potential discrepancy arises. There were several instances where Elizabeth intervened on behalf of destitute women, including a woman whose husband was captured by the Ottomans and a woman whose daughter was raped and impregnated. She was supposed to be doing nothing but killing women during this time. And she couldn't waste any time, with body counts as high as allegedly over 650. Elizabeth is also known to have had 5 children. Ferenc Nadasti would die on the 4th of January, 1604. He would leave his children and wife to Gregory Thurzo. There were many suspected forms of torture carried out by Elizabeth when she killed people. Rumors of Elizabeth's cruelty apparently rang throughout the kingdom. By the time that Istvan Magyari finally made a formal complaint in 1602, what is even stranger is that this complaint was not responded to until 1610. Then the witnesses came out of the woodwork. Even 2 court officials, Benedict Desio and Jacob Severassi, claimed to have personally witnessed the Countess torture and kill servant girls. Yet somehow there is no record of them saying anything until this point. On December 12, 1610, Nicola VI Zrinski confirmed the agreement with Thurzo about the imprisonment of Elizabeth and distribution of the estate. Funny how the distribution was so important to them. On the 30th of December, Thurzo went to the castle and arrested Elizabeth, along with 4 of her servants, who were accused of being her accomplices somehow. Initially, Thurzo made the declaration that he had caught Elizabeth red-handed, but this is impossible because she was taken while she was eating a simple dinner, so he had to relent. Unfortunately, most of the witnesses stated that they had heard the wretched accounts from others and not firsthand. The servants confessed under torture, which is not credible in contemporary proceedings, and then were quickly executed. The accusations of murder specifically were based on rumors. Astonishingly, there is no document to prove that anyone in the area complained about the Countess, just other nobles who desired Elizabeth's power. In this time period, if someone was harmed or someone even stole a chicken, a letter of complaint was written. And in the beauty that is double jeopardy, illegal nowadays, 2 trials were held in the wake of Elizabeth's arrest. The first was held on the 2nd of January, 1611, and the second on the 7th of January, 1611. What we do know about Elizabeth is that she wielded incredible wealth and power, and that power went to a greedy family known to have taken over Europe and subsequently the world. You've heard of them, the Habsburgs.
Several authors, such as Laszlo Nagy and Dr. Irma Zaleski-Pardos, have argued that Elizabeth Bathory was a victim of a conspiracy. Though this can be hard to believe, no substantial evidence exists. Thurzo is thought to have exaggerated evidence at the least, as disgracing her would greatly benefit his political state ambitions. The theory is consistent with the historical narrative of the area, and Elizabeth's power was divided amongst Protestants and social rivals in the midst of an Ottoman attack. Which leads us to the infamous sensation that Elizabeth must have done the worst things we can possibly imagine. I'll see you next time!